Hello, Libra. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot. Supportive Oracle cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's Gretchen's last name, so if you'd like to find either of those people or any of them, you can search them out and support those creators as you see fit. Okay. Libra. Okay. I'm intrigued because I think there's a fun little thing coming. Ooh, your card popped out. I love that. Okay. I like how it's ending. I like how it's starting. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when we get there. Your card is right here in the beginning. Justice, your card, Libra. Doing what's right, doing what's fair. I almost feel like that fair and equal battle is going on here. Like, is it fair if somebody who's been behind the 8 ball all their life, has to struggle like everybody else, or would it be more fair if they got a little advantage because they had to struggle their whole life? Something like that. But I'm getting the justice cards coming in here. Like, justice is coming in. I feel like this is saying you're in your element. There's a lot coming in at once. You've got perception with confusion with impatience. This is the top level. This is like what's the strongest thing is like you're trying to figure out what's going on. There's a lot of things here that don't make sense. And it's kind of like we can't just sit here and hope for the best. It's kind of like that ambulance situation. Like, there's a lot of confusion here. People are hurt. People need help. We can't just sit here and try to mull it over. People need help now. We need to help them now. We can't just sit here and hope for the best. So we can't take the time to slow down. We got to keep moving. So you push forward. We're going to do the best we can with what we know. We're just going to make our best. We're going to use our best judgment for the moment. Got to use our best judgment in the moment. There's a lot of confusion here, but we got to do our best. We can't wait. Got impatience. Can't wait. Got to keep it moving. The next card are forgiveness and insecurity. It's hard because it's like some of these mistakes are going to be, they're not going to be able to be fixed. Other mistakes will be. So it's kind of like you're kind of like. It's hard. You're teetering on it. Like, we can't sit here. We got to keep moving. But some of these mistakes, got to make sure if it's going to be a mistake, it's a fixable mistake. So if it is wrong, we got to make sure that we do it in a way that it is fixable. We got to be careful about, for example, if we're going to use that ambulance situation again. If somebody passes away, you can't fix that mistake. You know what I mean? But if, you didn't do the best for them and, the injury isn't healing correctly, hopefully they can redo it so that it can heal correctly later. That's what we're hoping for. Okay, a lot going on. A lot of passion here with the justice, kind of like you're in that reality mode. And what I mean by that is kind of like this is what it is. We're doing the best we can with it. We got to keep going, make our best movement, make the best move at this time, make our best judgment, keep moving, keep going, keep moving, keep going. Got to keep going. If nobody's going to get any help if we just sit here. It's kind of like the ambulance situation again. Big accident. People hurt all over the place. If we all just sit here and try to figure it out, half of them are going to pass away before we actually do something. That's not acceptable. It's not going to work. We got to keep going. Okay. You're in your element. Like, it's hard. It is difficult, but this is like something you actually excel at. Okay. So in the environment, we got a lot of good things happening. A lot of good things. You got miracle because you're helping. You being a part of this is a very good thing. You're where you're supposed to be. It's not going to go off without a hitch. It's going to have a lot of hitches, actually. It's going to have a lot of mistakes. But having a situation with a lot of mistakes rather than a total fail, that's the difference. If you weren't there, it would have been a total fail. With you there, it does keep going. It does succeed. There's a lot of mistakes, but overall, it's a success. You know what I mean? It is good. Miracle is that you're there. It wasn't going to be perfect. It was either do it the way it happened or fail completely, and it did not fail completely. That's why it's a success. impasse with gratitude. It wouldn't have happened without you. It would have failed. That's the impasse. That's why I'm seeing this in the environment. The impasse would have failed. It's either total fail or get something a little bit beat up at the end. You know what I mean? It's kind of like either you don't have a car at all or you get one that's beat up that at least gets you where you need to go. It may be beat up, it may be a clunker, it may be very difficult to get there, but you made it there. That's the success. Gratitude. I feel like people should be thankful for this. I also feel like immediately you're going to know how that's actually going to play out. Some people are thankful, but they're complaining about it at the same time. You know, you got to do what you can. I also feel like water off a duck's back on that. Kind of like, you're not surprised. I don't see you being surprised about that. You're just kind of rolling with it. Good. Cool. Good. The quest is coming up, though, because I feel like this is just the start. Whatever that situation was, you did the best you could with it. You really did. The quest is coming up with other people questioning if you really did your best. I really don't watch football. Like I did a little bit when I was a teenager, but this is why I'm saying that. I feel like it's what do they call it? Sunday night quarterback or Sunday quarterback. What do they call that? Where somebody's sitting at home, they're watching the game being played, and they have all the answers, and this is how that should have gone, and that's how that should have gone, and I don't know what the term is, but basically they're not playing the game, but they have every answer to what should be going on. Meanwhile, the people playing the game it's different when you're actually playing it versus you're just viewing it. And this is what's happening to you. There's people watching afterwards, and they're like watching everything play out, and they're going to be like, oh, well, this is what should have happened, and that's what should have happened, and why wasn't this done, and this is what I would have done, which is not fair, because under stress you make different choices. When everybody's calm and they have a chance to think and everything's cool, it's very easy to think and make decisions and do what's supposed to be done and say, well, this is how that should have gone, and that's how that should have gone. Sideline quarterback, I can't think of what the term is, but this is what's happening. Everybody has the answers, but they weren't there in the middle of it, and they weren't realizing what it was like to actually go through that situation. It's much different when you're actually in the situation and dealing with the stress versus when you're at home and you're just kind of like, oh, well, this is what I would have done. I think that's completely obvious. Well, I'm sure it is when you're completely calm and you don't have the stress of like your actions causing an outcome. But whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of like, about that. I think you're used to it, by the way. I think for some reason you're very used to it, whoever this is hitting for. Because when you got rejection with guilt, with the Eight of Swords, which all the three of these together is like you're trying not to let it hold you down. You know you shouldn't let it hold you down, but at the same point you're kind of trapped because there's some of this you have to deal with. It's almost like somebody's reviewing what went on and how it all played out. Somebody's saying, well, this was right and that wasn't right, but it's kind of like they should be saying what did go right. Hopefully in your situation somebody is saying, well, this is actually good and that is actually good, because they should be looking at that too. But so you're trying to keep yourself out of it with the rejection, but at the same time you do have these feelings coming in, and it does impact you. You're kind of like, well, I wanted it to turn out better, but we did the best in the moment we could. And at the same time, I do feel like you have to invest emotionally into it, kind of like, I would like to know what the better way was. So it's kind of like seeing it and going, yeah, I think that would have been a better way to do it. It just didn't look that way at the time. But I need this information, that way if I'm faced with it again, I'll have this experience and have this knowledge, so next time it'll be better. So it's kind of like you have to kind of hear it, you kind of have to absorb it. You still have to have that moment of humanity, realizing you did the best you could at the time. You did do the best you could. Because I feel you're honestly like, no, I want to know, so that next time this can go better. I'd like to know. Isolation with service and the Eight of Wands. There's a lot happening fast. There are people who agree with you and understand that you're doing the best that you did the best that you could, and that you're trying to learn from the experience. Isolation is also here, though. I'm trying to understand what we're saying with isolation, because I feel like I can't seem to touch what I need to touch. I can't seem to do what I need to do. There's other factors here that are not coming to light. There's other people who could actually like something is being kept out of the situation. Something is being pushed back. I'm getting that with isolation, like something is being isolated away from the situation, but I think it's something that could help you. I don't like it, really. There's somebody here who really believes in you, but they're not being listened to. And what I'm getting here with the Eight of Swords, no. The Eight of Swords was here, though. It's up on your side. That's the Eight of Swords. Eight of Wands. Eight of Swords, Eight of Wands. You're kind of stuck. You have to see how people are going to play it out and what they're going to say. You have to wait to see how they're going to handle it and what they're going to do with it. The energy gets really disruptive here. I do see a good outcome, but this moment is rough. The Devil card, the Two of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. I just don't feel like this is turning out at first in your benefit. At first. I feel like people are giving you a really hard time, but I'm also getting the isolation as a really big part. Something is being isolated out of this situation, and it's not able to come forward. The thing is, I think it will come forward later. Before it does, though, it's a very difficult moment for you. You got the Devil card here, you got the Two of Swords, you get stuck, you can't do anything with it. It just keeps coming at you and keeps coming at you with the Knight of Pentacles. It starts to feel like people are just looking to just completely rip you apart. It's a really, really hard moment. And it just seems like it goes on forever. I'm kind of feeling that with the Knight of Pentacles. Like people are like really getting a little bit over the top with it. I think it's so interesting that the card that is isolated away from the situation that's actually going to help you is your opposite card in the Zodiac. It's the Emperor. It is the Aries card. It's I feel like it might literally be an Aries person, who knows, but somebody's coming in very strong and they're balancing this out for you. They're helping you balance this. The Emperor comes in with a lot of truth. The thing is, when this comes in, it's very harsh truth, and it's like this time it's going to your benefit. Sometimes this is an energy that's very difficult for Libra, but in this case, it's going to your favor. Somebody's saying, no, this is wrong, this is way out of balance, that is not what the Libra did, this is what the Libra did. This is how it feels when you're in this situation, and when you're outside of the situation, you have a completely different take on it. And they're coming forward kind of like pointing out, like, unless you've been in this situation, unless you've lived through this, you don't know what it's like to actually handle this. And it's one thing to be there in the moment, it's another to look at it later. And this person is very strong and very much on your side and saying, listen, let's put this in perspective. Stop trying to attack the Libra and start working with the Libra. King of Swords is on your side. This person stands with you and gives you the strength and power and voice that you need. If people weren't hearing you before, the Emperor is making sure you will be heard now, and you need this. You got the King of Swords. When this comes in, joy comes in, creation comes in, it finally goes the way it's supposed to. Creation seems to be kind of like what you need to do to set it up so that next time this will go into your favor. You're showing your history, you're showing where this is going, you're showing you're absorbing this. You're also showing that before you were trying to absorb what went wrong in the hopes that you could learn from it and do better next time. It seems like that might have gotten twisted around against you, kind of like you were just showing how incapable you were. That was not the truth, but it's kind of like that's how it got twisted around, and people are like, well, see how incapable the Libra is? Even they know that they didn't do things right. And you had to come back and say, no, I was absorbing that so I would learn from that, so I wouldn't repeat that. That's the part. That's what this is all for anyway. You get through it. Joy is telling me it does finally balance out the way it should. It finally balances out the way it should. The ally here is helping you a lot. Afterwards, though, you might be a little bit tired, and you're kind of like, I don't even know if I want to be a part of this anymore. I do think it's going to take you a minute to pull it together and get comfortable again. The Page of Cups is kind of like, you're still happy, it did work out well, but it's almost like that rigmarole and craziness you had to go through, and that it's almost like an interrogation you went through. It just really left a toll on you, and you're kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But you'll get back into it. You'll get back up to speed. Just give yourself time to relax from that. That energy has to pass. You have to give it some time to pass. I'm so thankful that worked out in the end for you, because it got really rough there for a second. So hopefully for the people this hits for, that turns out really well, very much in your favor. All right, well, thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.